Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
All right, welcome back to the show. We've got a great guest for you today. We've got Tim Staggs, and he is the founder of Staggs Fitness. He's an author and a top-level national physique competitor. And Tim is known for having one of the best physiques in the world and helping others achieve the body of their dreams. And he's competed in 14 physique shows across the USA, placing top 10 in every single one and placing top 3 in 11 of them and first place in 5. And Tim lives the balanced lifestyle he preaches. He's also a father, husband, athlete, and avid outdoorsman. When he's not working, you're likely to find him wading the river with a fishing pole or catching a football. Tim, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And congratulations on your selection to be a co-author in the Essential Wisdom Mega Book Project. So that's awesome.
It is. I'm extremely excited about how big this project is and all the people that I'm able to work with here.
Awesome. So let's just get right into it. Tell us a little bit about the customers you help and the business that you have.
Well, I've helped everyone from your professional athlete to your millionaire to just anyone really looking to change their life. You know, whether it's losing body fat, building muscle, sometimes just trying to feel better, you know, not trying to feel so worn down during the day. Pretty much the way I do that is through building the blueprint for them to reach that goal, really starting with nutrition, looking at the food we're putting into the body, making sure we're eating the right amounts, the right types, looking at adding exercise in if it's needed, and then everything in between, you know, to make the body healthy and happy, help them feel good, help them get to that goal, and really building it into a lifestyle. So that this isn't some diet we do for a year and then we go back to doing what we did to get to the bad shape they were in, but doing it through a lifestyle change so that when they're to their goal, whatever that might be, they feel great and then they've learned, they know what they need to do to continue down that, you know, happy, healthy path.
Awesome. So is there a specific niche that you're helping? I mean, is it baby boomers or male or female, or could you explain that a little bit better?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I've helped pretty much, you know, every type of individual out there. I'd say probably the majority of the individuals I'm helping are people looking to lose weight. It's no surprise we have a health epidemic here in the U.S. and even across the world where people are, you know, overweight, obese, really unhealthy. And so a lot of the individuals I'm helping are people looking just to lose weight and feel better. And I'd say probably the age group that seems to be the most common for me would probably be your 30 to 50-year-olds. Because it does take some time to get out of shape. So a lot of us are healthy when we're in our teens and we start getting out of high school, we get life and jobs, and we forget about our health and stop being as active. So it sometimes takes a few years to pack on those pounds and realize that we have an issue. And so I'd say, you know, 30 to 50, you know, really lately it's been a good combination of both men and women. For a long time, I was helping more women than men, and now it seems like that's evening out. I think men are starting to become a little bit more open-minded. Some of us have egos at times, and I think we can do it ourselves. And I'm noticing that I'd say about 50% of my clientele are men and 50 are women, and the majority of people looking to lose weight.
Awesome. So what led you to this field, and how did you get started in this business?
It was an interesting story. I never expected to or had the desire to be a trainer. I was a very skinny kid growing up. I had a speech impediment at one time. My family was not well off, and so I got picked on a lot. And when I entered middle school, I decided that, well, I was tired of being skinny. At least the one thing I can change at this point is to you know, become bigger. If I'm bigger, it'd be harder to bully me, right? So started working out, got bigger, got out of high school, really found a new confidence for myself and realized, you know, what changing your body and really building that confidence can do for you. And I met some friends, they were bodybuilders at the time, and they said, look, you look great, you have a great physique, you would probably do pretty well. You should do a competition. competition. And I had no clue. I'd never really heard much about bodybuilding. I was like, well, what do I do? It's like, well, we'll tell you everything you need to do. Just follow us. So 2001, my first show, I was 21 years old, stepped on stage, got third place out of 16, real big competition, and just kind of fell in love with transforming my body, becoming better, really being able to sculpt my physique. And next thing you know, after years and years of competing, or actually after a short time of competing, I started helping individuals just for free. This guy or this girl said, hey, you look great. How do I lose weight? So I started helping people for free just because I enjoyed it. It helped me better myself and learn. And after probably, almost 8 years of that, I met a personal trainer who became a good friend of mine. And we went into business together for a very short time. And I left separate ways in good terms, and I started my company. And next thing you know, I got out of a dead-end job that I was tired of being at, took it full-time, and I haven't looked back. I love working for myself. I get to stay home with my little guy in the morning, take him to preschool. I was able to stay home full-time the whole first year he was born, and I love helping people. So, and I'm good at it. If you're good at something and you love to do it, you should be doing it. So I kind of took that step forward and started Staggs Fitness and haven't looked back.
Absolutely. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that with us. Along the way, did someone inspire you or that stands out that inspired you to do what you're doing today?
Yeah, it was really my friend Dave Kerr, and he's passed, unfortunately, at this point. But when I met him, he was a trainer. He had lost hundreds of pounds. He was morbidly obese at one point, and he had lost hundreds of pounds, fell into the love of helping people, became a trainer. And as stupid as it sounds, one day he just said, you hate your job, why don't you be a trainer? And I don't know why, but I'd never thought about being a trainer. I just had never done it professionally. I'd never really thought of it for some odd reason. And the light bulb went off, and I asked him, I said, do you think I can do that? And I was already helping people, so it wasn't some, genius idea he threw out there, but I had never thought of it. And so I said, hey, can I work with you? Can you teach me some of the stuff you know? Because I'm really big on making sure you're very confident in what you do, right? Mm-hmm. You should, not have any worries or second guessing yourself. So I wanted to learn as much as possible from him because he had an extensive background of knowledge. So we worked together for a short time there, and then I started my own company. And so really, I have to thank my friend who's passed, Dave Kerr, on helping me, get started and put an idea in my head.
I feel your passion, but what drives you to get up every morning to help the people that you help?
The drive that I have nowadays is my son and my wife, trying to, provide a better life daily for them, so that my son and Becca can have everything that they want. So, and we're far from that. I mean, I'm just a small business owner. Things are growing. Things are getting better, every day. But I'm not where I want to be yet. So I'm working hard to provide them with everything that they desire, and within reason, of course, and without spoiling my little guy.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great family you got there. What have you found over the years of your experience to be the biggest misconception of, getting your body sculpted or getting in shape?
Man, there's a lot of them. Probably the biggest one off the top of my head would have to be, that you have to do a diet or starve yourself to get in shape. That's probably the biggest hurdle out of all the misinformation out there. Is everyone thinks it's a diet. We have the mentality in society that if you eat veggies and fruits and meats and the things that we've been eating for thousands of years, that you're on a diet. And that if you're not eating fast food and chips and soda, you're on a diet. Where it's completely backwards. We've just, for a very short time in our lifespan of being on Earth, been eating all this junk and processed foods. So the mentality is to get people thinking that, are changing their thinking that this is a lifestyle. Foods we should be eating maybe 80% of the time are your unprocessed natural foods, the fruits, the meats, the, things that grew out of the earth, things that walk around, depending on, what you're looking to eat. But, staying away from the processed foods. And we can still have those things. I still eat pizza and fries, and I go to, fast food occasionally. We just have to have that in moderation, and it shouldn't be the staple of our diet. It should be the little stuff that we have on the side and really feeding our body all the healthy stuff that we should be eating. And if we eat in moderation, we can have the best of both worlds, be healthy and be happy and live a longer life.
Is it really, people think that I have to spend a lot of time in the gym to really see the results as far as how my body looks? What really is the time frame? I know it's not instant, but realistically, what kind of time frame are people looking at to see noticeable change?
Well, it definitely depends on your goals and your lifestyle. So what I tell people once I find out their goal is, what are we looking to achieve with that goal? So, if you're an elite athlete, we're talking about a different time frame. When I was competing, I might spend 3 hours a day in the gym. I mean, that's probably the higher end of things, on average 1 to 2 hours. But that's, me trying to be the best of the best. For your normal individual looking to lose some weight, and let's say they're sitting at a desk all day, which most of us do. I sit on the couch all day. I work on my emails and phone calls. So I'm just like most people. I sit down all day long. If you're the average person who's sitting down all day long, you should at least be up 30 to 60 minutes exercising a day. I recommend more than 60 minutes. I think the government recommends 20 or 30 minutes a day or something, but just getting up a little bit is going to make a huge difference. The bigger factor, of course, is eating. If you're not eating healthy, you can't out-train a bad diet, as they always say. It's absolutely true. Now, if you're a construction worker and you're working all day, I'm probably going to tell you don't do any activity. You're already shoveling all day or, lifting lumber, whatever it might be. You're getting the exercise. Now we need to look at really feeding your body, and you probably even need more food than you're probably eating, just better quality foods. So, on average, for most people that aren't active during the day, an hour a day, 5 days a week even, is going to make tremendous gains if you're doing the right types of exercising.
Those are all great points. Thank you. Could you describe how you've taken someone and helped them obtain the results that you're trying to get them to, how you did it?
Absolutely, yes. I have a pretty good process in place here, and nothing I do is cookie cutter. So I take every individual I work with, I find out their goals, I find out their wants and desires and their why, and kind of put together a plan based on all the information. But I typically start doing right away, the number one thing I'll do is find out their why. What's the reason they want to reach their goal? And we need to find a very deep reason why. For example, I want to lose weight. That's not your reason why. We need to dig deeper. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, so I can be healthy. Okay, let's dig deeper. Why do you want to be healthy? And let's also get to a real deep reason. Maybe it's my family has a history of heart disease and diabetes, and I'm afraid I won't be around in 5 years for my son or my daughter. Now, that's a strong reason to get to your goal. The fact that you may die and not be there for your family. So once we find that reason, and that's different for everyone, but now that's the first step. Now you can go back, and that reason will get you through any hardship that you run into. The next thing I do is we look at your eating habits. We start tracking your eating. We determine how much are you eating, what foods are you eating, and then trying to change those habits into healthier habits. Looking at how much should we be eating, what food should we be eating, and working through that process. The second thing I look at is exercise. Are we doing any exercise? Do we need more exercise? Do we need less exercise? Some people are overdoing their body, and providing them the advice there with activity. Typically, I'm a big fan of weight training. That typically will give you the best results for most people's goals. It has been shown to be better than cardio, be better than running, be better than a lot of different activities that most people are doing. That is one of the bigger misconceptions I run into is you have to do cardio to lose weight. Not true at all. Cardio can help you lose weight, but there are definitely, most of the time, better activities to be doing to maximize results, weightlifting being one of them. Then looking at everything in between. There are things as simple as being stressed out or not getting enough sleep or not drinking enough water that will really hinder our goals. So I want to make sure we're not missing any key piece of this puzzle to get them to their goals. And then on a weekly basis, they send me their measurements, the pictures, how the week went, any concerns, any questions. And I look at all that data. I analyze it. I see, are we doing everything we can to get them to their goal? And if there's any changes that need to be made, I send them those changes or suggestions. And we keep working on a week-to-week basis to really get to that goal. In a nutshell, that's pretty much the process. I do everything as far as building the blueprint and changing the options as we go. Everything pretty much besides the hands-on training, which I find most people don't need a babysitter at the gym. What they really need is a plan. And if they follow the plan, they get results, and it builds them the habits that they need to take themselves to the gym, or cook the foods and eat the foods that they need to do.
I know there's no cookie cutter plan, but can you give us an example of what types of foods and things that somebody might be consuming during this process?
Well, sure, yeah. Again, going back to really the unprocessed foods, things that we have not processed or very minimally processed. Again, your veggies, your fruits, your protein, which usually comes in the form of meats, your other types of carbs like, rice, Ezekiel bread, things that are very minimally processed. The body knows how to deal with those the best, and it's going to function the best on these type of foods. Good rule of thumb, stay away from the middle of the grocery store and shop around the edges. That's where the foods are at. If it's sitting on a shelf in a box, it's probably not the best option for you. Again, with that being said, doesn't mean you can't have that. But if all you're buying is, everything but veggies and fruits and meats and your unprocessed foods, you're not putting the best foods in your body. More importantly is eating the right amount, which is a little bit more difficult to figure out. So that's why I always have my clients track their food, and then we determine, are we getting results? And once we track the food, we know how much we're eating. So if we're not getting results, we can reduce or increase that amount of food. And I like to do that with macros, which for individuals that don't understand macros are really your fats, your carbs, and your proteins, which equal calories. So eating the right amount of protein, right amount of fat, right amount of carbs is going to be ideal. And that's the difficult part for most people to figure out. And that's one of the things I'm good at, because some people will deal with carbs better than others. Some people like fats better than others. So it's getting that right amount. And as we become more fit and healthy, our bodies typically deal with carbs better. So that's where I make changes to that nutrition to really get them going down the right path, feeling good, never taking out one certain type of food, so they can really give the body a variety of nutrients and get the stuff they love too. If we completely take out all the stuff we love to eat, then eventually you will fail on that plan and you'll go back to eating that stuff. So we want to keep that stuff in that moderation. Obviously, when we're getting to the goal, probably a little bit less than when we get to the goal.
We're an instant society, so how can people overcome food preparation? I mean, what do you recommend as far as preparing for these meals?
Yep, it's all about having a plan in place, which obviously is one of the things I do. I put the plan in place for you. For individuals that aren't working with me, just make up a plan. You have to determine, number one, what should you be eating and how much. Once you know that, now it's just a matter of preparing that food. So, for example, if you wanted a chicken breast a day, you wanted a cup of broccoli a day, and that was one of your meals for the day, then make sure you have 7 chicken breasts for the week. Make sure you have 7 cups of broccoli for the week. If you try to make the food every time you need to eat it, you're not going to do it. You're going to stop by a fast food place, because none of us have time to, cook food every single time we need it. So whether you eat 3 meals a day or if you eat 7 meals a day, you need to have enough food available to you. And most people try to overcomplicate things. So I tell people, just have a plan in place. Put some food in the refrigerator for you to heat as you need it. Put some food in the freezer so you can unthaw it when you need it. So, for example, when I cook, let's just say chicken breast, I usually eat 1 a day. I'll cook a whole grill full. and it might be 3 weeks worth of chicken breast. Now, if I put that in the refrigerator, it's going to go bad, right? So I put 3/4 of it in the freezer. I put enough for a couple days in the refrigerator, and when I need to eat, I pull it out, pop it in the microwave for a minute. Maybe I steam some broccoli at that time, or maybe I have some already in there, or whatever food I'm going to eat. I'm just using chicken and broccoli because it's simple and most people understand that's healthy, right? So pull it out and have it. And if you need to eat at work, bring it with you. Put it in a cooler, put it in the fridge at work, whatever it takes to do it. And if you eat 3 or 4 times a day, you can eat 1 or 2 of those meals at home. So bring 1 or 2 at work and you're healthy. Or you can always eat healthy at a restaurant. Probably not, one of the fast food places, but, go to a restaurant and ask for, a lean steak and a baked potato, or, a piece of salmon and some broccoli. Most places will make you healthy food. Personally, I can't afford to eat healthy food out every time I want to eat. So I make most of mine at home and bring it with me if I go places, or, eat it at home and, don't eat the bad choices when I go out.
Great information there. What would you recommend the first thing somebody should do if they're considering changing their lifestyle and becoming healthier?
The first thing I'd recommend is going back and finding your why. Find the reason why you want to make these changes. And as I stated earlier, if that reason is strong enough and deep enough, there's nothing that's going to stop you. I mean, if someone digs deep and realizes that, hey, if I don't change my health, I'm going to die, and I do not want to leave my family here and be gone, that's going to prevent them from doing the bad things that keep us from reaching our goals. That's a strong reason. If someone's reason is just, I want to look good, it's probably not going to be strong enough, because guess what? Cookies look good too. And when you see some cookies, you're probably going to eat them.
Right.
So you have to have that reason that's deep. The second thing I would say, once you find your reason why, is just start eating healthier. Don't go hungry. Don't starve yourself. Just take the junk, get rid of it. Get 80% of the junk out of the house, or all of it out of the house, and eat healthy 80% of the time, 80 to 90% healthy. Throw in 10 to 20% unhealthy stuff if you choose to, the stuff that you love, and make it a lifestyle. And if you're hungry, eat a little more. And if you don't have success and you're not losing weight over 2, 3, 4 weeks, eat a little bit less. And if you're not having success, maybe eat a little bit less or add in some activity. Just make small changes. The body wants to be healthy, and the body will, if you listen to the body, will tell you what it should be doing most of the time. With the exception of that, if you eat too little, that's also bad. So sometimes people are eating too little. Usually because you're extremely hungry. So, you want to find that balance between being maybe a little bit hungry at times, but feeling good and losing weight. So I've changed those eating habits slowly, add in some activity, even if it's yard work, riding the bike down the road. Anything is going to be better than nothing. Ideally, I'd recommend getting in the gym a few days a week, lifting some weights, really pushing your body. It's going to help give you a whole bunch of other health benefits that maybe something like walking won't do for you.
Yeah, that what's helped me is I gave up sodas a couple years ago and donuts, and I just look at it as poison now. So I just totally avoid it. So you got to make that decision.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. At the beginning of the show, we talked about you being selected to be a co-author in the Essential Wisdom book. So congratulations on that again.
Thank you.
What you've been chosen to submit a chapter. Can you just give us a brief idea of the chapter that you submitted?
Yeah, well, Essential Wisdom is just an incredible book that we put together. We have, I think it's 33 authors or 33 chapters in there, experts in all their fields. So I took the healthy eating, healthy living chapter, and really what I've done with my chapter is tried to fit in all the essential wisdom, aka what the book's called, into that chapter so someone can read the chapter and really get started in a healthy lifestyle with, I won't say minimal effort, but a very optimized, easy to follow guide. Starts with finding your why, a little bit of a backstory on me and what I've gone through and how I changed my life, how to change the eating habits, step by step, how to change your exercise habits, and putting everything together. So if you really follow this one chapter, you should be able to reach your goal. All the information is there. It's just a matter of whether you follow it or not. So I was excited about that because one of the things I can't do is help everyone. I'm a small business. I only have so many hours in a day, and I'm still growing. I have room to bring on new clients. But what's also done, I can't help millions, not by one-on-one basis. So this book allows us to get in front of, millions and millions of people and really give them the knowledge to change their life if they choose to do so. And I was excited about that, to be able to help so many people without me having to write a book by myself and try to do something I've never done before. As I'm not, a published author. I'm not some New York Times bestseller. I'm just a guy who wants to help some people. So this gave me the option to help so many, and I'm excited about that.
Awesome. So they can find more information about that where?
Essentialwisdom.com is the website, and you can find more information on me at staggsfitness.com. That's STAGGS fitness.com. And I will also be having some information on my website about Essential Wisdom, the book, and everything that we have that's going on with that.
Awesome. So if somebody's ready to get started with you, what's the best way to contact you?
I'd definitely say go to my website, contact me through there. I always tell people best way to do that is email me, send me your phone number, we'll set up a time to chat. I talk with everyone, kind of free consultation, let's say. Anyone who contacts me through this interview will have a free consultation. Find out a little bit about your goals. Make sure that I'm the right fit for you. Make sure you're the right fit for us. And worst case, point you in the right direction. Or, we get started together and we'll figure out a game plan to get going from there. So definitely just get to my website, inbox me your number, maybe tell me a little bit about yourself, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Awesome. Great information. And thanks for being on the show today. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to the release of Essential Wisdom to come out here early summer. So thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And if anyone's interested, contact me, and hopefully I can help you out or answer some questions for you and, help you get towards your goal.
Awesome. Well, there you have it for this edition of the show. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.